Welcome to the Hustle Wing podcast. Today, I'd like to welcome Eric Cunningham, CEO of Green Cabbage. Eric, thanks so much for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me, Perry.
Yeah, I love having people and companies from Pennsylvania. I'm an East Coaster, so I'd love to hear a little bit more about your story. We'll get to that later. But what is Green Cabbage as a company?
Yeah, Green Cabbage is the global leader in technology and indirect technology, in contingency labor spend analytics. So what we do is we help companies optimize their spend and secure the best business and legal terms on their technology contracts as well as their contingency labor contracts.
I have a couple of questions. So number one, is there a target demographic customer size that you guys like to work with? Is it large? Is it small? Is it medium? And then the second question I have is, do you guys do direct to customer or do you guys go through VARs and value-added resellers like CDW and SHI?
A great question. So the first question is, we focus on mid-sized enterprise-sized customers. We serve about 1,000 indirectly and directly across the globe. So our data set is utilized here in North America by large business-to-business clients, as well as through VARs, value-added resellers like KPMG and BCG, Alex Partners. So more than large strategic consulting companies. We service those, like I said, mid-market and enterprise, and then the consulting companies. But a big part of our business is we serve is private equity firms across the globe as well.
Interesting. Private equity and venture capital is an interesting space. I'm sure it's interesting for you guys right now, specifically as things are kind of moving around. But can you talk to us a little bit about what challenges that Green Cabbage is facing, or potentially what exciting and new projects you guys are working on that you can share?
Yeah, so what happens is customers want more. If you think about Monday mornings used to be what's our forecast on revenue? Now it's what's our forecast on revenue, and how can we reduce spend? So if you think of indirect technology and if you think of contingency labor, two of the largest expenses on a balance sheet, we have to be always coming up with new value propositions for our customers. So we just recently launched a GPO, our internal GPO group purchasing organization for our clients. It's called Receptio. It's at no cost. So we've taken the $500 billion of spend under management in our platform across all of our customers. We've leveraged that, and now we've secured these cost plus agreements for our customers that they can go and really give them back a lot of time and the assurance that they're getting the best pricing at this point.
Yeah, I saw that. And it reminded me of a company I recently haven't interviewed yet, but called Tropical. And they do something similar where they kind of leverage their buying power in order to pass along some level of savings to the customer. I started my career in the value-added reseller space working with SHI. And so it's when you talk about balance sheets and all that stuff, Personally, I get so bored in the face, but when you're working in it and you see how complex and fun and challenging it is, it's actually really exciting. And so really cool that you guys stood that up, and congrats to you and the team, I guess.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to segue from there to, you launched this new product. Hopefully that's going really well. So our audience base here that's tuning in, there's a large amount of people, hopefully some of which will be customers, hopefully some of which will be brand advocates for you guys, and maybe they already use you at their company. But for people that are listening in, a majority of which are contract workers or side hustlers or solopreneurs, how can they, what roles do you guys have opening up maybe within those projects where our community can help out?
Yeah, so a lot of folks, anyone that's affiliated with purchasing technology or labor knows that it's very challenging, right? So the vision of this company, when we kick this off, our 4-year-old birthday is coming up next week. But to answer to your question, folks that are familiar with this, a lot of our folks that work here today have their ex-Microsoft, their ex-Oracle, their ex-IBM, or their ex-chief procurement officers or some type of indirect technology purchasing. And we have quite a bit of CIOs. So we have a nice little balance that we can kind of chop it up, as we like to call it, around that Green Cabbage from a 360-degree view. But if our audience has a small business, we always are looking for strategic partnerships where they can come in and create their own little business model off of our data set. As I mentioned, those large companies before, they purchase our data set and then they go and monetize that data and help create uh, quick wins and quick and large outcomes, for their client base. This is not a this is a to us this is a multi-billion-dollar market cap, and there's not that many teams on the field right now. So this is a great opportunity for an entrepreneurial spirit of a person to really take our data set in a partnership and go to the next level. Did that answer your question, Perry?
I think it does. And then, so if I'm listening and maybe I run a small consultancy, there's the opportunity potentially for some kind of commission split referral situation as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah.
Very fruitful too. It's not your traditional VAR markups. We're talking, you know, we're talking 2, 3, the number 2 and 3 in front of a 0. So it could be very fruitful for them.
Yeah, those VAR markups, you're lucky if there's any zeros.
Exactly.
But that's awesome. Excellent. And before we round out, there's two questions that I have for you. One is, how did you get into this space? I mean, where did you start out? Why you guys are in Pittsburgh, right? How did you end up there? How did you end up on Green Cabbage as an idea?
Yeah, as I mentioned, a lot of us worked in these technology suppliers. Myself, I cut my teeth at Oracle for almost 10 years, Microsoft. I went and led a brand new team at Salesforce. We built a firm and out of Eastern PA and sold that business to IBM. And then it was in the VAR space like yourself. And was fortunate enough we were able to sell that business as well to Presidio. And I was one of the local general managers in that. So when you really when you look at that many deals, you see the challenges that face, and a lot of it is the amount of time and energy, wasted time and energy from both sides, the company that's acquiring the technology and also the suppliers. So we wanted to be able to optimize that and streamline that. So we created a platform, our spend analytics platform called One Workspace. Once we spun that up, we started collecting a lot of data, anonymizing data, parsing the data, making it very achievable to get in down to a micro SKU. So that's the important part of it, because everything's a bundle nowadays. So you got to be able to unpack those bundles. And then the business and legal terms were just a natural fit for us. We have attorneys on site here, so we're really able to help give our customers that reassurance. But we've got the best people in the business. I'm fortunate to work with some of the most brilliant people, whether they're in development, marketing, sales, delivery, and we're having a blast. I got to tell you, we're having a lot of fun. Everybody in this company is an owner of the company as well, so we're all looking out for each other, and more importantly, we're looking out for our customers.
Yeah, I love that. And there was a question that I had in there, and it evaded me at one point. But the one thing I wanted to ask you, and this is sorry, this is a bit unscripted, but I'm just so curious. Do you see maintenance when I was in the VAR space? And maybe this is an opportunity for someone listening, but do you see maintenance as being a big challenge too? Like, you're so right. The deals, they would take so long, and they would play these like mating games on both sides, but then after that, they would acquire the technology. And then the big ROI optimization I saw personally was maintenance, some kind of maintenance. Like, how did they, they bought seats for the whole org to do a thing. And it's like, it wasn't really well rolled out. It wasn't really well maintained. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, so ongoing support maintenance, specifically on-prem investments, or it could be a capital purchase on hardware and stuff like that. So there's the good news is that there's more than just one option now. So there's third party companies that are popping up left and right, and they're really augmenting it and providing just as much value in many cases. Now you got to be careful depending on what type of technology and if you're on the latest version. But we call that a rebalancing exercise. So it doesn't matter to us if the customer paid $100 the last 3 years per year. That doesn't mean that we can't go back and rebalance that to get it to $60 and stay with the same provider. Again, that's what our data set does. So we're not going to ask those suppliers to do something for this customer we haven't seen them do for other customers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the power of market intelligence, and really equipping our customers with that knowledge.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are still in purchasing, and it's the transparency of get in touch and whatever. You don't know what other people are paying, and it's hard. Um, the last question I have for you is, where can people find Green Cabbage's website, and where can people find and connect with you?
Yeah, so not a lot of people know about us because we're kind of sitting behind some of these mega suppliers, so to speak. But you can find our website at www.green-cabbage.com. We have a Chop It Up session, which is our LinkedIn Live session. Pretty interactive. We also have a roadshow called ATP, Accelerating Technology Procurement. Our next show is in Austin, Texas. We've done Pittsburgh this year. We've done Atlanta. We've done Orlando. We're going to the West Coast now, and we'll be in the Bay Area and Chicago the following two. And we don't charge for people to come to our events, and we bring in some of the best of the best. So Google will be speaking at it, Microsoft will be speaking at it, KPMG will be speaking at it, and it's really to help people that are acquiring technology, to give them some better blueprints, and the goal is for them to walk away and utilize some of the skills and the coaching that we're giving them at these events. So you can see all that on our website at green-cabbage.com.
That's awesome. Eric, thank you so much for being here. And really interesting company. Congratulations, or happy birthday, rather, on that upcoming birthday. And thanks again for making the time.
Thanks for having me, Barry. Really appreciate it.